Hey, have you noticed that cars have gotten really expensive? We're driving a Mazda 3 hatchback, and we're going to explain why this is the affordable car you'll love.
But first, here's how much the Mazda. How many Mazdas are there?
At least 2.
Here's how much the Mazda 3 costs. By Mazda.
You guys, it is so stylish in here. There's all this red color, stitching, metallic accents. Everything feels pretty nice.
It's actually not that far off from what you would expect from a standard Mazda 3, except there's some red stuff in here. But that simplicity carries through in a really great way. Like, for example, the climate controls could not be simpler. And when you touch around, everything feels very premium. Even when you go to the back seats, those door cards, it's got like a nice soft feel. This is a level up kind of vehicle. Leveling us down slightly is the use of shiny black plastic. Our tester has over 5,000 miles on it. And in the pressed car fleet, that is a lot. So it's lived a hard life. And as you look at these black plastics, it's like smudged and like dusty and really scratched. One more issue in this region, I get some really intense reflections off of the metal surround here, and even on the top of the shifter. Yes, we're driving a manual transmission version. At certain sun angles, the light just blasts me right in the eyes. We got a reasonable sized center console area here, and we've got this sliding armrest. Dual USB-C ports come standard.
For such a small vehicle, there are a reasonable amount of cup holders. We've got 2 here, storage in the door. There are also 2 drink holders in the middle armrest in the rear.
You can also store bottles in the rear doors, but they are at a bit of an angle, so make sure you have a sealed top. For the seats, I'm finding good support, both in my lower back region and laterally. I've got adjustable lumbar support here in my driver's seat. You do not.
Manual controls only here. It is a comfortable seat, although it is a little narrow in the upper back region.
Oh, that's interesting, yeah, because I'm experiencing the same thing right here in my shoulder zone. It kind of squeezes in, which is helpful when you're driving on our winding mountain roads, but not so helpful if you're just cruising and you feel like it's perpetually squeezing you.
That's my job.
Do you want me to get a dog to give you a back massage?
What an esoteric comment that is.
I don't want to have to pay anyone.
And dogs are just so well known for their massages.
While I wait for my inexplicable dog massage, I will mention that seated behind my ideal front seat position, there is just enough clearance. The back of the seat is sculpted a little bit, so it makes some room for my knees. Though if I was taller than 5'10", long torso, poofy hair, then it might be a little bit more of a challenge. Similarly, I have enough headroom. It looks like maybe I wouldn't, especially if you look at me from the side, but yeah, there's enough headroom there. Move to that middle position though, and it's more of a challenge for me. Headroom is a little bit too tight to sit there comfortably. What about you, kiddo? How do you find that middle spot?
I think the headroom's okay for me, which of course it is. I'm a child. But the footroom, like I have to put my toes in or out.
So you're more comfortable in that outboard position? How's that treating you?
The outboard position is pretty good. One more complaint though, I don't like how there's no vents back here, but maybe the dog could take care of that.
You know, we are offloading a lot of labor onto dogs, massages, figuring out ducting to get
you.
Oh, the dog is using a fan? Okay.
With its big tail.
I think you'd have to get a poodle for that. Poodles have big fluffy tails.
I like how we're exploring the bounds of how far away from a car review we can get with this and still keep audience attention. One more question, kiddo. What's it like climbing in and out of the Mazda 3?
It's so low, actually, that I don't need a dog to help me.
In this scenario, what is the dog doing?
It's a step.
I'm a little concerned for the dog. This gives me pause.
Oh, no. Okay, no more dog comments. I'm vetoing any further dog comments.
Dang, I took it too far.
Last rear seat comment, there is that rear armrest, and that is standard on all Mazda 3s except for the absolute base trim. Moving behind those rear seats, we've got 20.1 cubic feet in our hatchback version of the Mazda 3. If you go to the sedan, it drops to 13.2. That's a good amount of space for a small car, and then lowering those rear seats, you can reach them from the cargo area, easy to drop them down. Unless you have the front seat back too far, the headrest on the rear seat up a little bit. But yeah, easy functionality, simple space, and if you look underneath that cargo floor, you'll find a spare tire. Hooray. Sweetie, what is the car seat situation?
There are 3 top tethers and lower anchors in the outboard positions. Those are covered with plastic covers which are easy to remove and easy to lose. As for a rear-facing car seat, it can be done. I'm 5'2" behind a workable front seat position for myself. You can fit a rear-facing car seat back there, but it will be tight.
As for safety, the NHTSA has rated this 5 stars overall. The IIHS has named the Mazda 3 a top safety pick plus. We have 10 airbags standard along with a complete suite of active driver assist technology. Family, what do we think? Is the Mazda 3 family friendly?
We didn't say the sedan was family friendly, but given the extra cargo space in our hatchback version, it is small family friendly.
Rear window test. What? All the way down. Bam. Armrest test, driving in a comfortable 8 and 4. Last time I gave it 85% inboard and outboard, but I'm feeling a little more generous because, this squish factor is really strong, both inboard and outboard, really easy access. I'm going 90 both sides. Let's move on to style. This generation of Mazda 3 is now in its 7th model year, which is a really long time in the car world.
I think it still looks great. It's sleek, it's stylish, I like it.
It's simple too. If you look at this shape, it's like there's not a lot of adornment, and I think that aids in longevity. The Mazda 3 we're testing is obviously the hatchback, and that is our preferred style of Mazda 3. Not only do we like the functional, sleek style of the hatchback, but you also gain 60% extra cargo space versus the sedan version. By the way, if you're wondering, the release for the hatchback is right here underneath the emblem, opens right up. I'm really glad that Mazda continues to offer the Mazda 3 in both sedan and hatchback body styles, so you can get the functionality and style you prefer. In similar fashion, Flying Eyes eyewear is extremely customizable. These are the new Peregrine titanium aviators. They have modern aviator style and really cool looking lenses. You can get a variety of lens choices, but also they do the Flying Eyes things you'd expect. Super thin temples so they fit comfortably under a headset or helmet. They're flexible and durable. If you're interested in high quality eyewear, aviation spec, whether you're a pilot, motorcyclist, or just a normal commuter, click the link in the description below to learn more about Flying Eyes. Now look at that hatchback. Despite its increasing age, we really like the look of the Mazda 3, but what do you guys think? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Tell us in the comments. Also, thank you for supporting our channel, leaving a comment, staying tuned while I choke to death, all of those things that you do to keep our channel going, we really appreciate it. Moving onward to In Motion. Here comes the litany of standard observations when we drive a Mazda. The ride quality is a little bit top, but still comfortable. I will note that we have a torsion beam rear suspension, which is a little less sophisticated than a completely independent rear suspension, but I don't notice any ill effects when driving the Mazda 3. The version we're driving is the standard naturally aspirated engine, so we don't have that extra power that we sometimes get with the turbo motor, and that turbo motor, that thing hauls. The basic engine that's non-turbocharged, I would say power is merely adequate. In fact, I'm going to floor it mid-corner, which is normally a bad move, but I felt so confident that we wouldn't get too much power that we just motored along. One of the challenges with this engine, though, is that it's paired with a 6-speed automatic transmission in almost every trim except our 6-speed manual here, and because of only having 6 ratios, which in the modern era is not that many, when you go through those gear changes, sometimes the engine kind of drops back out of its happy rev range, so it has to build up a head of steam again. I mentioned that we've got the manual transmission, and it's a joy. Easy shifts, easy pickup points. I find it very easy to drive, and it does add some driver engagement. All those old cadre driver types that are telling you people were more engaged when they had a manual transmission. There's a little bit of truth to that. Interestingly, there's no rev match feature, so I'm in third and I'm going to go down to second. Did a heel toe downshift there when going down to second, and it was easy to do with the pedal position. Flip of the throttle there to get it in the right rev for the next gear down. So it is a truly manual experience. When cornering, we have, I would say, a balanced steering ratio, not too quick, not too slow. And there's the kind of standard Mazda predictability. As we go around a corner, it just goes exactly where you expect it to go. And because of that predictability, that can encourage a little bit of zesty driving. While not filled with the naughty, silly fun that we used to experience in older Mazdas, there still is fun potential here in the modern Mazda 3. One last test, I'm going to try and come to a buttery smooth stop in the Micah Muzio Limo Challenge. Let's see, I feel like that pedal feels nice and firm. I feel like I've got the control I need.
Pretty smooth.
Yeah, that was interesting too because it's the manual. I basically let completely off because it's on a slight uphill. So, but yeah, you can finesse this thing to a very smooth stop if you were so inclined. That's what I think about driving the Mazda 3. What does Sweetie think? Evie's at the wheel. First challenge, can you pull away smoothly using this manual transmission? You are clear.
Whoops. A little too much gas. So the answer is no.
No. Sweetie's trying to race Dom Toretto, and she plans to win.
I don't find this particularly difficult for a manual transmission, but I am way out of practice.
Gotcha, so any challenges you're experiencing are really sweetie-based rather than car-based?
Yes.
What about steering the Mazda 3?
I find it a little bit on the heavy side, but otherwise, I enjoy steering it.
Predictable, confidence-inspiring?
Those things.
Any visibility challenges?
Ooh, I do not like the view over my right shoulder. The belt line is high and there's a huge seat pillar there.
Yeah, that hatchback shape looks cool from the outside, but it's a challenge to view out from the inside. Thankfully, blind spot warning comes standard. If you were in the market for a compact car, are there any game killers that would keep you from driving a Mazda 3?
No game killers here.
Excellent, get back in the driver's seat. Moving onward to remarks. Infotainment, the standard screen is 8.8 inches, and then there is a larger 10.25-inch screen available on higher trims. With either of those screens, you get Apple CarPlay and Android Auto smartphone connectivity standard, and then you get wireless smartphone connectivity starting at the S Carbon trim.
This is not a touchscreen, even in Apple CarPlay, because we have the smaller screen.
If you go to the 10.25-inch, they will let you touch the screen, but only for smartphone integration. For the native system, it's all using that knob.
And normally I don't like using a knob, but the Mazda system is so simple, I don't mind using it here.
I've gotten pretty used to the knob controls here. It falls readily at hand, which is an old auto journalist cliche, but it is easy to use. But again, that's completely dependent on the fact that this is such an incredibly simple system. And you can use that for smartphone integration, making your way through Apple CarPlay, but sometimes it just would be simpler to say, hey, here, hit the play button, which is one reason why I would be inclined to get a model that has the larger screen. New for 2025, Mazda has added an Alexa functionality, so you can do like voice commands to like change the temperature and other things, but that's only on the Select Sports trim and up. Really popped my pee there. Over in front of me, we have a round 7-inch LCD display, and that is standard. I do have to lodge a quick complaint. I've noticed this with other Mazdas, but when you get in here and you turn it on, the car immediately starts beeping on you unless you put your seatbelt on first. And I'm sorry, I never put my seatbelt on first and then start the car. All I ask is that Mazda give me a slight beat before screaming at me. Returning to this video's original premise, why is this the affordable car you'll love? It's really simple. It has enduring style and engaging driving dynamics, while also offering impeccable safety, and it's pretty easy to live with. And you can even get it with a manual transmission, which is a really rare treat in the modern era.
It feels really special, even though it's modestly priced.
See, you don't have to spend a lot of money to have a car you'll love. All right, let's take a look under the hood in a test inspired by my buddy Brian. Here's how you open the hood on a Mazda 3. Here's where you check the oil level. Here's where you can add oil. And over there on the left, that's where you add the washer fluid. And if you're curious, what does that Mazda 3 horn sound like? All right, let's talk engine choices. The base engine is a 2.5-liter 4-cylinder engine. There are both front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive versions. If you want the manual transmission like we have, it only comes on the S Premium Hatchback with front-wheel drive. There's also a turbocharged 2.5-liter engine, makes big power, only comes with all-wheel drive. And if you want max power, use 93 octane. With either engine, a 6-speed automatic transmission comes standard, and highway fuel economy, you should note, is slightly worse with the hatchback. Speaking of fuel economy, there is no hybrid offered. We'd love to see that in the future, Mazda.
Sweetie.
Yep.
Please share our trim recommendation.
I will share our trim recommendation before I start another coughing fit. Our trim recommendation is which trim will give you the essential features you regret not getting, but at the lowest possible price. Nailed it. We're going to recommend you spend an extra $740 over the base sedan S trim for the S Select Sport trim. That'll get you a car with dual zone climate control, leatherette seating, and smart key access. Given the small price bump versus the base trim and how much we like its features, we'd recommend that S Select sedan trim. If you're wondering about updates for the 2026 Mazda 3, it's got a new standard 8-speaker audio system, and the prices have risen a little bit. Otherwise, pretty much unchanged. Compact car competitors worth considering, that's a lot of C's, include the Subaru Impreza, Toyota Corolla, Hyundai Elantra, and Honda Civic. Did we miss any remarks? If so, tell us in the comment section. And now it's our daughter's time to shine. Child, can you tell us what is your favorite feature in the Mazda 3?
I really like the red seats. I just think it's a cool color.
If all this stuff was just black like every other surface, it wouldn't feel nearly as cool. Car makers, add color. Family, I think we've done a good job reviewing the Mazda 3. May I have a 5 and a 5? And you, come get your high five. Blammo! And now please enjoy our AI-generated synopsis song about the Mazda 3.
Every twist and turn, it dances on the